Today at Let's Talk Marketplace, we talked about Alphatrail, a D2C bike parts brand who started their e-commerce journey on Amazon. I had Michael Grundwürmer, co-founder and CEO, as a guest today, talking about scaling their marketplace business to 5 marketplaces at the same time and the importance of using AI tools to stay competitive and lean in the marketplace business. Have fun listening!
Let's Talk Marketplace.
The Marketplace podcast with Ingrid Lommer and Valerie Dichtel. Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Marketplace. It's just me, Valerie, behind the mic today because Ingrid is off on holiday and I'm here, the only one who's not sitting in the southern Crete sun. No, actually, my guest is also in Bavaria too. Let's keep it like that. And it's a really crazy time right now, I would say. Like everyone is like the feeling of like everyone is on holiday, and at the same time it's like preparation time for a K5 conference and other events this year. So but I would say I'm really happy that I not alone here today, especially that gives me the opportunity to finally chat with Michael Grundwürmer, CEO and co-founder of the German e-commerce startup Alphatrail, which sells bike parts, mostly on Amazon, but now also on other marketplaces. And that's what we will talk about today in detail. Hello, Michael. Great to have you here.
Hi Valerie, I'm really happy and thank you so much for your introduction and also the invitation to this podcast. I'm really excited talking with you about our journey, and I hope I can share some good experiences with your listeners.
Yeah, thank you. I'm also really glad that you're here. We tried it like for some weeks already to have you finish your project. We will talk about that later. Well, actually, I think the first time we met was last year as a pre-event of the K5 conference in Berlin, right?
Yes, definitely. It was, it was a pre-event of the K5. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And this year we do the pre-event ourselves, so that's quite interesting. There we actually talked about your marketplace story, your like how you build up your company, and I'm really excited to have you here to talk about this as well in our podcast. And how many marketplaces you published in one day. Let's keep it like that. Let's see. But before, I would say, let's dive a bit deeper into the story of Alphatrail. Let's first introduce you in a little more detail to our listeners with our traditional 3 questions. So, Michael, who are you?
Yeah, Michael, I live in Regensburg. It's in Bavaria near Munich. My past was a software engineer. I started my own e-commerce business in part-time besides my job. It was, I think, like over 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. And I switched that more and more to full-time. And now I'm here. I'm doing e-commerce full-time now for like 8 years. So I'm a bit of a tech guy. And I can completely live that in the e-commerce scene.
And what do you do best in the marketplace business or in the e-com business to make it a bit wider?
You mean what I'm doing myself? What is my responsibility?
No, what are you best in?
Okay. I think I'm quite good in working with data, analyzing data, also like process automation, like with software or with AI. That's the things I'm quite good
Software engineer,
Yeah, so I'm more like the tech guy, not so deep into the marketing. Of course, it's very important. I'm glad that I have my business partner Alex that is very deep inside marketing, creativity, and anything. So I think it's quite a good cooperation here. But I'm more the guy of the numbers, the technical stuff, processes, software, code. That's what I love. But I also love the digital part of the e-commerce.
Now, Alphatrail is doing bike parts mostly, right? Tell us maybe a bit more about your founding story of Alphatrail.
Yes, I met Alex, my co-founder, as I just mentioned. It was like, yeah, 8 years ago. We met in a co-working. We both had our e-commerce business running.
Mm-hmm.
My business was in a complete different area. He already had a brand
Mm-hmm.
with bicycle parts. And I was a downhill rider back then. It
Mm-hmm.
was my hobby. I was no racer or something like that, but I was almost every weekend I was somewhere in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I loved the idea to switch the product category to bike parts, and we decided back then to work together,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it all started. At the beginning, we were also in the consulting because we didn't had much cash or anything.
Yeah.
So to be full-time in business, we did consulting and customer projects
Mm-hmm.
to pay our
Survive.
yes, to survive. Yes, and when we had time, so we had like two jobs. One job was the consulting that we can pay our rent and food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when that was over, usually in the afternoon, then we started with our own business,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we switched slowly. Yeah, after I think it was something like 2 years, then we switched to
Mm-hmm.
full-time work in our own e-commerce business, and then it was yeah, the part when we started scaling and also slowly invested in like HR and stuff like that to
Mm-hmm.
become a real company and not like a two-man show than we were in the past. So it was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a different thing from now.
Mm-hmm. And tell us a fun fact about you. Could also be something private.
Um, I think I moved. A fun fact maybe is I moved out from my parents quite late, so I was very deep in all this business stuff. I was in China at suppliers and everything, but I still lived at home because I didn't had focus to yeah, to do the step because all my focus and everything goes into the company, and so it was like at home it was easy for me, no cost. So
It was like
I need
hotel mama.
yeah, I need less money, so it was easier for me to stay
Mm-hmm.
at home. Now I'm for many years I moved out, but compared to my colleagues from school or from university, they moved out from home quite yeah quite early
Yeah, I moved out
compared
when
to
I
me.
was 19. So
Yeah.
how old have you been?
Yeah, so for me it was more late, but it was yeah, the business was my baby, what I was
Mm-hmm.
doing all day, so it was not a project for me. I always thought yeah, after the company then I will move out, but the time frame is getting bigger and bigger, and yeah, then someday was the day when I've done that.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. It's great to really have you here. I'm really looking forward to dive deeper into the marketplace story of Alphatrail, also how you started and on which marketplace. And yeah, now we will do a short advertising break in which I would like to tell you more about a really helpful new ebook by our partner Channel Engine. Marketplace fees, middleware costs, pick and pack, shipping, return handling, even storage fees. Anyone selling on Marketplace knows it's not always easy to figure out what's really left at the end of the day. Hidden profit killers can be lurking anywhere. To help us, to help you to boost your profitability on marketplaces, Channel Engine has put together 5 powerful tips in a brand new ebook. You will learn how to turn low margin products into real profit drivers and why having clearly calculated minimum prices is key to protecting your margin. They also ask one question that really matters, not how much do we sell, but how much do we actually keep? And yes, that might mean cutting unprofitable products from your assortment. If you want to stop losing profit, check out the 5 tips on our website, and as always, you'll find the link in the show notes. All right, and now let's dive deep into our conversation on Alphatrail.
topic of the week.
So, Michael, now we have time to really talk about Alphatrail. You just already said you are selling bike parts. And we had a chat a few weeks ago when we met on an event where you also talked and told us that you changed slightly your assortment. Maybe you will give us a bit more insights about Alphatrail, your products, your prices, so that everyone knows like in which area of like products you are.
Yes, definitely would love to do that. So, as you mentioned, we are selling bike parts, bike accessoires, and also helmets right now. So, yeah, we are more premium brand. So usually we are more expensive than the brands your listeners know. Like, for example, we are selling tubes, and our tubes are more expensive than Continental, for example. That is a very famous brand in Germany. So we are quite premium. We have a premium products, so we always try to get the best available suppliers in the world for our category. So that's of course the purchase price from us is higher, and we also want to have a bit air to breathe for our marketing activities. That is also important to make great content for the customers, like very cool packaging, good pictures, maybe a video with instruction or anything. So that's what we are doing quite good. We started classic with Amazon and FBA 8 years ago when Alex and I met and we said, okay, let's do something together. So it was easy to scale with the extreme little office. We started, and then scaling was quite easy because Amazon was doing the fulfillment for us. And yes, right now we are doing a bit of a shift. That means we are adding more and more high price products to our assortment. So it's easier to make more marketing outside of Amazon and marketplaces to make our brand more famous. Also we are working on our online shop besides that marketplaces. And our big project right now is to bring out a complete assortment of bicycle helmets, which is an extreme interesting category for us because parts are really technical. They are like more cold, they are technical. You buy them when you need them. Helmets are a bit more emotional because there are points important like style, safety, and everything. So it opens us some doors to do cool video ads, to do a bit more social media and stuff like that. What is like with a brake pad or a tube, it's not such an exciting product to do exciting social media ads.
And you started as I would say like an Amazon grown D2C brand, right? And
Yeah,
now
definitely.
you also said to me like, oh yeah, we have like somehow not outgrown Amazon, but someone told you like, okay, you've done now everything you could on Amazon. So is there also an end for you at Amazon to grow?
To be honest, I hope there's no end because, of course, we would love to grow more and more with Amazon, but it does not mean that we are not trying to launch other sales channels. But we are really happy with Amazon. But of course, when all your products are on Amazon, we are selling. I think that's also an important information. We are selling in the European Union. It's in Italy, France, Spain, Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany. Also in the UK. We tried some steps in the US, but that was like a small, very small MVP to test a bit. So we have no big US business right now.
What
So
about
we are always
Poland, Michael? Poland?
Yeah, we analyzed every Amazon marketplace in the world and especially in Europe and decided which one is important for us and not. And the problem for us in Poland is that the average sales price is very low. It does not work with our premium strategy for now. So we are watching Poland, but it's not in our plan to launch it in the near future because when our product is like 10 times more expensive than the product that the Poland customer is usually purchasing, then it's quite hard for us to get any kind of traction. What is definitely is interesting for us is Sweden, because Sweden
Mm-hmm.
has a great bicycle market. So Sweden
Mm-hmm.
is definitely on our schedule for the soon future. We are also watching Ireland, that is quite new.
Mm-hmm.
We launched Belgium at the beginning of this year and are really, really satisfied with the
Mm-hmm.
numbers. So Belgium and Netherlands I can definitely recommend.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially the Nordics are like really, really biking countries, right? I mean, if I imagine like Denmark, for example,
Yeah.
or Netherlands, they are all like riding their feet, how it's called in the Netherlands, right? So yeah. Okay. And so now you're at Amazon. Do you how is your marketplace strategy otherwise? I mean, you started there. You really have grown there really huge over the past years, and now you said like, okay, now it's like time to grow the business. And how did you start it? Like your thoughts about the strategy?
Yeah. The first huge challenge when you are an Amazon FBA business is that usually you don't have a good B2C logistics.
Yes.
Of course, we have a partner that is doing the pre-FBA work,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so the first big step for us was to get a partner that is extremely good at B2C, what is important for other marketplaces beside Amazon and also for Shop.
Mm-hmm.
So that journey started 1.5 years ago. It was
Wow.
extremely hard to find a really good B2C logistics partner
Mm-hmm.
because we our our goal was to say that our experience is as good as the experience from Amazon FBA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Fair.
extremely hard to reach because I think Amazon is one of the best, world leader in logistics and in B2C or D2C logistics. So we had to find a partner that has quite, yeah, a good
Mm-hmm.
location, good partners, also good shipment options to other
Mm-hmm.
countries because our approach was to to get international directly, not
Mm-hmm.
only start in Germany.
Yes.
Um, yeah, the thoughts you wanted to know are that, the question was, what are the next steps? Amazon, we are quite good. We are growing year by year. So what are the next steps? And then we said, okay, we want to launch a broader sales channels,
Mm-hmm.
more sales channels.
Mm-hmm.
And then we made a complete analysis of all marketplaces in Europe that are out there. So we
Mm-hmm.
checked traffic with tools like SimilarWeb and also checked category. Are there because there are some
Of
marketplaces
course.
that are specialists for tools or for toys or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, do they
yes, and
also offer your category, right? Right.
yes, so it was important that we have marketplace because when you are just looking at the traffic,
Mm-hmm.
you also have to check, okay, how big is the sports category of this
Yes, of course.
marketplace?
Yeah.
Because when it doesn't have a sports category, then the traffic does not matter. Like
Yeah.
Zalando, for example, is a huge marketplace, but we cannot sell bike tubes there. It does
No.
not make any sense.
Yeah. You really need, it's like sports is not sports, right? Sometimes you also have like the sports quadrant, and there you also like need to think about like, okay, yeah, sports is like sports fashion, but it's also sport hardware like bike parts or
Yes.
trampoline or something like that. And that's sometimes similar marketplaces like Decathlon, I would say, who has offer both ranges, right? Or Amazon. And then you have Zalando, which is like, yeah, mainly sports fashion, maybe some accessoires like
Yeah.
yoga mats, but not technical bike parts, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you did like analysis, like in terms of like traffic, in terms of categories. What else did you researched?
We check the average sales prices. So because there are
Mm-hmm.
marketplaces that are quite that have cheap average sales
Mm-hmm.
prices, and there are marketplaces that have more premium products. So we had to decide which one are fitting good to our brand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Of
it's
course.
like a match. So
Mm-hmm.
not every marketplaces has the same image. There are
Uh,
some marketplaces that are famous for very good price quality
mm-hmm.
ratio. So yeah, that's very important what you have to decide in that process. And then, of course, another point is some marketplaces are like gated, so you have to check, okay,
Yeah.
are they interested in products in your category, or maybe they are completely full and say we have so many brands,
Yeah.
we don't need anything, and then maybe you have to wait, or you have to
Of
try
course.
to get a better relationship with them or
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
always easy to convince every marketplace.
No, you need a brand approval, that's for sure. So then you decided, okay, like how many with how many marketplaces did you now start?
We decided for 5.
Mm-hmm.
That was the decision was based on what are the biggest generalists besides Amazon, for example, like in eBay or an Otto that are very big in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and also which marketplaces are very good in the sports
Mm-hmm.
category. For example, a Decathlon that is fitting extremely good to us and to our brands, because the audience is exactly the
What you
audience
need.
that our brand is
Mm-hmm.
also having.
Mm-hmm. So you start now with, you said like eBay, Otto, Decathlon, with who else?
We also found out about Alltricks. I think the
Mm-hmm.
company is a daughter also from Decathlon, which is very
Mm-hmm.
strong in
Yeah.
France.
Mm-hmm.
In the bicycle category, they contacted us some years ago, so we already
Yeah.
knew about them. So that is definitely a thing that is
Mm-hmm.
interesting for us, and we are also, as I said before, I'm a huge fan of Netherlands and Belgium and everything. So bol.com was
Yeah.
also a way to go for us, and I
Mm-hmm.
heard from some colleagues from me, I heard very good stories about Ball that they're very satisfied.
Yeah.
Some marketplaces definitely have their own like FBA program, like Ball, for example,
Mm-hmm.
has something like that. But for us, we want to keep it lean and one process for
Mm-hmm.
everything. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we decided that we are using our own logistics for
That
them.
makes
And
sense.
also for the shop, it was the same thing.
Okay, and then you prepared this for 1.5 years, and then you decided, okay, let's go for 5 marketplaces at one point, and for your own online shop. How did that happen?
Yeah, something like that. It was an extreme long time for us to find a logistics partner, because
Mm-hmm.
we visited them. We had to check, okay, because for us, as I said, we are tech guys, so it was extremely important to connect the logistics partner to our ERP system. In our instance, we are using JTL, so we had to check that they have an API
That
on a
connection.
connection, or when they
Of
don't
course.
have one, that we creating one together. So we can, yes, we create the order in our system, and it gets automatically to the logistics partner. He's sending that out.
Mm-hmm.
The tracking number is transferred and everything. That's also an extreme important point, because when you're doing everything manual by hand, then you cannot manage growing big, because you're just
No.
in your micro tasks every day.
Yeah.
So the IT setup is extremely important. And yeah, it was at the end of last year. Then we started slowly to contact the marketplaces and started the process.
Mm-hmm.
But it was I thought it would go faster. It was mostly internally to get all the logistics running and everything. What took much more time than we thought.
Mm-hmm. So, you had to go to like launch everyone like at the same time, right? How is your status right now?
Right now, our status is that most of the accounts are already completely activated, because you have all the KYC
Oh,
processes
yeah.
that are
Mm-hmm.
always taking some time to verify every data, bank account, and everything. And for most of the marketplaces, we already had the listings finished, which means content, texts. That was definitely a challenge. Every marketplace has different guidelines between title length and how many bullet points are needed, how many pictures are allowed, and everything like that, which fields are mandatory and which fields are optional. So to put all that together was definitely a challenge, and also to talk with our logistics partner if he can handle every process. For example, Ball wants the order number on the shipping label, or when you are not doing that, you have to put a document inside, and we try to reduce paper as much as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and for some marketplaces you have to put a return label inside, and that are all the challenges we
Mm-hmm.
have to solve with the logistics partner, that everything is working, we are happy, the marketplace is happy, and also the
Mm-hmm.
customer is.
All the nitty-gritty devil details, huh?
Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I found it really bold when you told me like, yeah, I want like to go with like all of them at the same time on. I was like, okay, that's a good story. It's a good podcast story. Because I think also like an entrepreneur, this thing of like, we planned it like this, but it always takes longer than you suggested at the beginning. I think that's something you could tell the whole entrepreneur life. Um,
Yeah,
it's
it's always
always
like
like
this,
that.
but step by step, you have to move forward.
Yes. But speaking about also your software skills and your lean process setup, what are your do you use AI tools to make this process leaner or easier in terms of like the marketplace business?
Yes, definitely. I think it's extremely important to do that. When you think on stuff like all the translations you have to do when you're doing international business, or
Mm.
you have to generate different kinds of content. So we try to, or what we are doing is to keep, for every product, to keep like a core of metadata, like all the technical stuff
Mhm.
and everything, all the instructions. And with all these information, we can use AI to create cool marketing text where we can say, okay, we need 3 bullet points that are explaining
Mhm.
everything, and the text length is like 200 characters, for example, or we
Mhm.
want a long text of 2,000 characters. We
Mhm.
can do everything because we have the data, the metadata, and then
Mhm.
just AI is transforming it into cool marketing. So yeah, we have quite many products.
How many
Okay, it
products do you
depends.
have?
Uh, Multiple hundred SKUs.
Mhm.
So it always depends who you're asking. There are people out that say, okay, I have 1 million, so compared to
Yeah,
them, we are small.
ask the fashion people.
Yeah, definitely. But usually we
Um,
have standalone SKUs, so that's
mhm.
why.
Okay, you have multiple parent ASINs. Yeah, I see.
Yes, with helmets is a different thing when you say, okay, all the
Sizes,
colors and the
colors.
sizes, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So, but all the SKUs and then all the countries, for example, Amazon with 6 different countries, and
Mm-hmm.
then all the other marketplaces
Mm-hmm.
and the online shop. The content is definitely a challenge, and yeah, I think you must use AI today to solve
Yeah.
that, because the others are doing that too, or
Mm-hmm.
are going to use that, and to stay competitive, it's must
Mm-hmm.
have.
And which tools do you use? Which AI tools?
We have some internal tools that we
Mm-hmm.
developed ourselves where we are
Okay.
using AI models
Mm-hmm.
like I think OpenAI, ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
everything knows
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm also a huge fan, or we are a huge fan of Gemini, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because I think ChatGPT, everything everybody knows. So when I'm talking about that, it's
Yeah.
not so exciting because it has a huge token window, what means you can work with much bigger content there. For
Mm-hmm.
example, you can paste a complete website into Gemini and say,
Oh.
okay, I need a data scraper for that. I
Mm-hmm.
want this and this information, and
Mm-hmm.
then he can handle that. Where ChatGPT
Yes,
has,
that's not possible. Yeah.
yeah, it has a much lower or smaller token window, which make it harder for ChatGPT. There are several models. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's quite interesting. I mean, we are also using AI, but obviously for different things than producing product content. I mean, it's also product content, but in a different way, I would say.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Amazon, Michael, do customers on Amazon and other marketplaces differ in how they engage with your products or brand?
Yes, definitely. I think on Amazon, the usual customer is yeah, he's very satisfied with everything. I mean, the customer service, the returns,
Yeah.
the fast shipments. So when he doesn't get something of that, then he is very unhappy and is mad. I think in other marketplaces it's not that normal that you get a refund after, I don't know, you use the product for many years and then you say,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't know, it's burning or anything, and Amazon is refunding the money
Yeah.
despite what the seller is selling. is saying. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Amazon is so big. So I don't want to criticize that. I just want to point out that it's a different kind of customer. I think also like an eBay customer, in my experience, I'm not sure if they're asking more questions to the seller or if it's because Amazon is handling many requests of the
Mm-hmm.
customer. That's definitely what we're also experiencing, that yeah, Amazon, we don't get many messages, but in other marketplaces or also in the shop, it's a
Mm-hmm.
complete different story. There are many questions, and also regarding the shipment, of course, because in
Mm-hmm.
Amazon you see it in your account, and
Yeah, you know
the
everything.
others always
Mm-hmm.
want to
Mm-hmm.
know where's my product, why it is not still shipped out. Or
Mm-hmm.
some are ordering on Saturday, and then on Sunday they're asking why I don't have a tracking number or anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. So you would say that the average Amazon customer is more um, wants more level of services, right? Or like has a higher approach, I would say, right?
Yes, I
Because
think
they are,
so.
yeah, taught like that. Most customer-centric company in the world, right? That's their big goal. Um, Yeah, well, I also need to say, when I think about my private life, my boyfriend, he's also always just like first looking if there is something on Amazon because it's much easier to get a return, etc. If there's something not working. We were last time we were like really surprised. We did a kitchen. We had like a tool to sew the kitchen plate, the big one, and the tool, I don't know, is Kreissäge. I don't know what it's in English. Um, it's and it's not sewing. Sewing is nan. But actually, it needs to cut the length of the table for the kitchen, and then it was like not straight. It was like really not straight
Yeah.
cutting, and then we were like, okay, great. Now we have a problem. And we got in contact with the Amazon customer, and then they completely refunded the tool. They refunded the plate, and we got an even higher um, voucher. So I don't know, like the sewing tool cost like 100 euro. The IKEA table 150, and we got a voucher of like 750 euros
Yeah,
for like
that is
that.
crazy.
That was crazy. We were like, is this true?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you
it
were
is
really
true.
relieved on that day, right?
Oh, we
When you
were,
had
yeah.
that good news.
We were like pretty positive affected, and obviously they wanted to prevent themselves from bad customer reviews. It was an
Yeah.
Amazon wholesale, it was like sold by Amazon, but that was really interesting. So yeah, of course, like from this experience, we would also buy even more from Amazon, especially tools, etc. Yeah, because that's much easier. I don't know how that would be, how that would have been if we went to a tools market, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think they are
yeah.
not so yeah, they are more strict with their guidelines
Yeah, I guess so too.
in the
Yeah,
classic business.
but also in the online business, it's much more transparent if someone is really unsatisfied. I mean, I'm pretty sure we would have also given a bad customer review about this tool, and then it would have been dead, right? I mean, if you have like a cutting
Yeah.
tool which is not cutting straight, okay, that's really difficult. So, but coming back to your project, and if you would had to give one piece of advice to a brand starting their marketplace journey today, what would that be?
I definitely would say always analyze your data, because in e-commerce, in my opinion, data is one of the one of the important points, because data tells you everything. I mean, like for example, in the listing, it starts with click-through rate, where you can tell, okay, maybe I have to improve my title or my image, or conversion rate. Maybe some informations are missing or are unclear to the customer, and he moves to a competitor that is explaining it better. Or maybe yeah, also like return rate, where you can say maybe there are wrong informations on the listing, or maybe something is wrong with the product. advertising, of course, like performance data to special keywords or to special competitors where you can place your ads. So yeah, start from the beginning to analyze your data and always optimize everything based on that data. I think that's definitely a must-have for now. Some years ago, you just launched products and you don't have to do anything and it just works. But I think that time is definitely over. So always try to use the data to improve yourself.
And how are you how you keep your company so lean? I mean, how many people are working for you right now?
Right now we are 9 people.
Yeah, so very lean setup, to be very honest. How do you keep it so lean? What is your advice there?
Definitely focus. Try to do and to scale the things that are working, and when there are things that are not working than expected, or it's too much work, then cut them and focus more on the things that are working. Try to use AI or software tools whenever it's possible. You don't have to create your own, but there are so many tools out there right now, especially with AI. You can do things in minutes that took hours or days some years ago. Or for example, I'm not sure, maybe some of the listeners haven't tried deep research yet. I think it's also a huge opportunity where AI can analyze 300, 400 websites in only 5 or 10 minutes. It saves so much time. It's just one example of many.
Yeah, that's such an improvement, right? If I imagine like writing my own websites text 6 years ago, and now we're like getting so much support. Whew.
Yeah, I think everybody is getting faster and faster, but not only we, also our competitors, so we cannot sleep.
That's true. So I would say it's like my coach sometimes says focus. I said focus, right? That's the recommendation you would give as well. And also what I would add to it is like sometimes it's always where focus goes, energy flows, right? And that's why you also said like to stop things who are not working, or redecide if it's the outcome is different than you thought.
Yeah, I think there are some companies out there, heard from, they're quite small, only like 1 people or 2 people, and they're doing everything in social media, they're doing every marketplace, they're doing shop and everything, and it's only like 5 sales a day or something like that, where I think, okay, just take one thing, focus on that, scale that, and then you can add more and more, but not at the beginning. Try to do everything,
Definitely.
and nothing is working.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, because then you get like a burnout for free. Yeah. And in the end it must work, right? In the sense of like it needs to make fun, and we need to earn money with it. I think that's it, right? Do you have some final words, Michael, for our listeners?
Some final words. Yeah, I think don't underestimate AI. I think it will change everything right now, but also in the next years. So I'm trying to read every AI news every day,
Wow.
and it's crazy what I'm not. I don't only think about like ChatGPT. I also think about like robotics and everything. Some days ago, I heard about like Amazon is using autonomous vehicles and also robots to deliver parcels in US and all that kind of stuff. I think that's so extremely exciting, and everybody should try to keep track on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Michael, for your insights about scaling up your marketplace business with Alphatrail. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for the invitation and the opportunity.
You're welcome. Yeah, and thank you all for you and listening to us today. If this episode was interesting for you, it would be great if you would like us and follow us on LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Or you could consider subscribing to our weekly newsletter in order not to miss anything interesting from the marketplace universe. If you tune in next time, you will hear more about the marketplace of MediaMarkt Saturn, its expansion to new countries like Poland or Belgium, and to new categories such as sports, maybe something for you, Michael, toys or garden equipment. But for now, I would say bye-bye and see you next time.
You listen to Let's Talk Marketplace,
the Marketplace podcast with Ingrid Lommer and Valerie Dichtel.